Hello everyone, welcome back to Porkies Collectibles. Today we have another great video for you. But before we start, please like and subscribe to our channel and follow us on Instagram at Porkies Collectibles. Now a couple things I want to go over. First of all, I was going to do Pikachu. I did mention that before, but Pikachu just had so many cards and to find the right structure of how I was going to go over it was too difficult at this point. So we will do Pikachu at a different video later on. Today we're going to do a different Pokemon that if you see at the very beginning of the video, you'll see Porky with 2 spoons. And those 2 spoons can only mean one Pokemon. That's going to be the very hungry Alakazam. Alakazam is number 65 in the National Dex. And he evolves from Abra, Kadabra, and then Alakazam. Hence the phrase you hear oftenly. Now, there are some controversies. I will show you 2 different varieties of Alakazams. One, Wizard of the Coast era, pre-2003, and then 2003 after. Let's go over a couple of things about Alakazam first. Alakazam is going to be a tier 1 Pokemon. It is a fairly popular Pokemon. I would say less popular than maybe Gengar, some of the starters, and obviously like Pikachu, Charizard, those ones, but still one of my favorite Pokemon. It's a really great card to collect. Definitely an iconic Pokemon. He looks like he's always hungry to go eat with those 2 spoons. He uses his 2 spoons for everything. Now you're probably wondering when I was talking about what's up with Alakazam pre-2000 versus after 2000. Let me go ahead and show you. Let's just bring 2 cards up so you can see on screen. First off, we have, let me just show you this one. Dark Alakazam. You can see he is stage 3. He evolves from Kadabra. Now, after 2003, you don't see that at all. He's just a basic Pokemon. And you're wondering what happened to Abra and Kadabra. Now, the thing about that, which I'm going to explain right now, is before, in the Wizard of the Coast era, ending in Sky Ridge, the evolution line for Alakazam was Abra, Kadabra, and Alakazam, but there was controversy for Kadabra. For that reason, you only see Alakazam in the basic form or doesn't have evolution line. The reasoning behind that was pre-2003, in November 2000, actually Nintendo was sued by a psychic or a magician that his trick was he bends spoons, and he sued him over saying that due to likeness, so Nintendo actually stopped producing Kadabra cards. You're wondering why Kadabra? Well, in English it's Abracadabra Alakazam, but in Japanese it's Keisi, Yunguru, and Fudin. Now, it sounds kind of weird, but Casey is based off of a famous magician named Casey. And then Fudin is based off of Houdini. As for Kadabra, the person that they kind of used as a famous magician to come up with these names was Yuri Geller. Now, in Japanese, they actually called it Jungeller, which sounds really close to the name. So that when Yuri Geller found out about this, he wanted his likeness removed. He didn't want to deal with the Pokemon company, the likeness that they were taking Kadabra, especially since he held 2 spoons. He didn't want to deal with that, so he sued them. And ever since 2003, which was Sky Ridge, the last set featuring Kadabra, you have not seen Kadabra cards after that. Now in 2020, he did apologize and did say that he was okay with Kadabra. So maybe in the future, Kadabra will come back and then there will be a full evolution line for Alakazam. So that's out of the way. I wanted to just go over that really briefly just because it's something that's kind of interesting to go over. But let's focus on the actual video itself, which is Alakazam. Alakazam today we're going to be breaking down to 3 different price points. Now, Alakazam doesn't have as many cards in the TCG but at the same time, there is a vast range in prices, as well as there actually aren't that many sets featuring Alakazam for obvious reasons, because Pokemon Company didn't want to deal with the controversy or trying to figure out how to make the card viable. So let's go ahead and jump into our first tier, which is going to be less than $50. We're going to do less than $50, $50 to $100, and then above $100. Let's start with the under 50. Our first card is going to be this Alakazam V from the Sword and Shield number 83 promo. This card is the cheapest at $1, about $1.18. So this card is the cheapest. I don't really care for the artwork that much. The next card we have is Alakazam V Full Art. Now this card is going to be from Vivid Voltage. This is the one, probably the newest. It is the newest Alakazam card. It is a full art. Let me show you that one more time. It is number 172. It runs about $2.50 for a near mint copy. I actually like this card. I would recommend this card to be picked up if you were looking for an Alakazam card, especially since it's a full art textured card. Next, we're going to talk about Fates Collide. Fates Collide featured a number of Alakazams, starting off with this Alakazam EX. This Alakazam EX is number 25. They run at you about $3.50 to $4 for a near mint copy. We're going to jump around by price points, so you will see some new and old cards mixed in, but these are the price points I chose. And I did feature most of the Alakazam cards. I might be missing one or two, but these are the ones that I deemed that was worth talking about. Next, we're going to talk about this Alakazam from Expedition. This is the non-holographic version. This one is number 33. It's just a holographic rare. This one runs you about $8, which actually, if you don't care about a holographic card, the artwork is exactly the same. This card has the same great artwork at a very cheap price. Okay, next up, we have this, M Alakazam EX. This M Alakazam EX is also from XY Fates Collide. This one is only $5 to $8. It's still fairly cheap. It is an ultra rare, but there is not much texture for it. It is the M being Mega Alakazam. He has a beard and everything, as you can see. They did give full Mega Evolutions in the XY era, and that is one of the cards. There is another card that you will see in a second. But before we show that, we have the Alakazam EX, also from X and Y Fates Collide. This card is running around $12 to $15. I really like the full arts. I think the full arts are awesome, especially since nowadays we have alternate arts, which are really, really nice cards to look at. Having a full art versus a standard just a picture, I think really shows more of the Pokemon, which is definitely, I think, part of the collection is being able to get your favorite Pokemon in different artworks. Speaking of another full art, we're going to talk about from Fates Collide, the full art Mega Alakazam EX. This is the one that is also textured because it is a full art. This one is number... What number is this one actually? Number 118 out of 124. This will be the last one from Fates Collide. It is the most expensive card from Fates Collide, as it is the full art Alakazam. Okay, going next, we have two cards here. We're going to have the Dark Alakazam and also the Dark Alakazam First Edition. The only difference being that there's a First Edition stamp. This is from Team Rocket era. This is one of the first few sets. The Team Rocket Unlimited runs you about $8. The First Edition right here runs you about $15. Okay, put these right there. Next is a very weird standalone Alakazam, just because in this era, especially Pokemon didn't really want to focus on Alakazam. So this one is going to be Alakazam. This one, Alakazam, is number 2. It is the holo version from Mysterious Treasures. This card is $18. I do like the artwork. He looks like he's setting up a barrier. There's a nice little swirl right there as well. But there weren't that many Alakazams during the Diamond and Pearl era, Platinum era. So this is, for my knowledge, the only one that I can think of that was in that era. All right, there is one more from Fates Collide. I did say that was the most expensive right there, but there is one more, which is the secret rare. It's also from Fates Collide, like I just said 3 more times, but this is the secret rare one, Alakazam, featuring the, what was it, Umbreon in the back, Lugia as well. This one is number 125 out of 124. Anytime it goes over the actual set number, as I mentioned before, is a secret rare. I like the artwork when it features multiple Pokemon. In the XY era, you'll see Pikachu, Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise all have different artworks where they show other Pokemon in the back. And I think that's kind of cool, especially like if you like certain Pokemons that typically you don't see a great secret rare card for. Like Metachan with the Cloyster in the back for the alternative art. It's just a nice surprise to see it. This one right here will run you about $20, which I think is really cheap for a secret rare and for how old the card is. Speaking of how old a card is, let's talk about the second run for base set. It was going to be this base set 2 holo for Alakazam. This Alakazam is number 1 out of 130. This is one of the, if you can't get the first, well, base set is the most sought after. Base set 2 is just a reprint, hence base set 2. This one is going to be cheaper than your actual base set, but it's the same exact artwork. It just has a 2 stamp right there. That's the only difference there is. This runs you about $20 to $25 for a near mint copy. All right, let's talk about one of the darkest Alakazams I know. This is going to be from Skyridge, the E-Series era. This Alakazam is number 2 out of 144. He looks really menacing in this one. Looks like he's really angry. Don't want to deal with him in that sense. Almost like he's looking right at you. This card is just the non-holographic rare version of it. And just being the non-holographic version of this one, it already runs $28 to $30, which you can guess Skyridge cards are expensive. If you know any of the holographic cards, which you'll see one of them later in the video, you'll realize Skyridge is really sought after for multiple reasons. It is the last set for Wizards of the Coast. Also had the shortest print run, so there just aren't that many copies out there. So it is highly sought after. I love picking up multiple copies of cards from Skyridge. Their artwork is amazing. Definitely one of the most important things, the scrappy artwork is one of them. So that's one thing to look out for. Next is going to be the original, the OG of Alakazam. I'm going to talk about the original base set Alakazam. This is the one that everyone had back in the day on the playground. They traded it, they played with it. This one is the most iconic one when it comes to it. Now, we will be going over Shadowless in the first edition, but this is the one that everyone owns, so it's probably the most nostalgic one out of all of them. This one will run you pretty much the same price as a Skyridge Rare, which runs about $27 to $30 for a single copy in near mint condition. Next, we're going to talk one of my favorites, just because I thought it was cool to have light and dark Pokemon, and right here is the Dark Alakazam, number 1 out of 102 from the Team Rocket sets. This card is the unlimited version. A nice swirl right there. This card is going to run you about $30 for a near mint copy. It is a slightly different artwork. It is more of a side picture of him. If you notice in the first couple TCG sets or the Pokemon sets, they're always front pictures of it. This is when they start to, really change the artwork, and I thought this is one of the most sought after Team Rocket cards out there. Speaking of changing up the scenery, we're going to have this Sabrina's Alakazam. I've always liked the gym heroes and gym challenges because you can actually see the gym leaders' Pokemon. Blaine's Charizard, I don't know why they don't have Blastoise or Venusaur for the other ones, for obvious reason, but Erica's Venusaur, sorry. But Blastoise kind of got shafted in my opinion, but Sabrina's Alakazam is number 16 out of 132. This card is actually pretty pricey. It's one of the more sought after holo rares from the Gym Challenge series. One of these copies will run you about $20 to $25 as well in a near mint copy. I know that was a handful, but that was all the cards that were under $50. Next, we're going to go over all the cards that are $50 to $100. We're going to start off with, we already talked about it, but Dark Alakazam in the first edition form from Team Rocket. This card has a big jump in price compared to Dark Alakazam. Dark Alakazam range you about $30, while a first edition Dark Alakazam Holo Rare will run you about $75 to $80 for a near mint copy. Now, if you were talking about a year ago, that would have been way higher, but vintage has been going down. I believe that it might go down a little bit more, but it's pretty much hit bottom. This is the price it should be at before the crazy spike. If it gradually just went normal, like, let's say, over the years, if it wasn't for Pokemon Go and everything, it would have had a gradual increase in price for all these vintage ones, and the prices shouldn't have skyrocketed. Hence why you see the prices dropping so much. It's not because that they're going to go down to zero, but it's because their normal price it's finally coming down to where the cards should be. It was kind of a mouthful right there, but that's what I'm trying to get at. Next is one of the few cards that is the only level X card. They're okay. I can't say the only level X, but this is the only level X ultra rare that is out there. This is the Alakazam level X card. This is going to be from Rising Rivals. It is number 103 out of 111. This is an ultra rare. This is actually, I really like this, the EX and also level X style with the bordering holographic on the outside. This card right here will run you about $75 to $80 as well, which is pretty much the same price as the first edition Dark Alakazam. If you had to choose between the two, finding a near mid level X might be a little more difficult than a Dark Alakazam. So if you really wanted it out of the two, you want nostalgia, I would go with the Dark Alakazam. But if you wanted to go for less, there was a lot out there, but at the same time, I think it's harder to find a near mint copy of an Alakazam level X than a Dark Alakazam. But that's just my opinion. I don't know how many copies are out there for both of them, so it's just something to consider. Okay, next we have these two, which is going to be from the Expedition era, or the EX era, sorry, E-Series era. There's going to be Alakazam holographic version and then the reverse holographic version. These two cards are number one. The holo version will run you about $75 to $100. Let me put that right here. Whereas the reverse will run you a little bit less at $50 to $55. Obviously, holographic is going to be more sought after. If you had to collect one of the two, I would always go after the holographic. It would be rare, reverse rare, then holographic rare. Just because the holographic rare is just so much nicer to look at. It's always been more sought after, except the only exceptions will maybe be the EX era with the stamps, and then obviously the legendary collections where the reverse pattern was more expensive than the actual holographic. Next, we're going to go into our final category, which is above $100. Above $100, there aren't that many. There's probably another 5 or 6, but let's go over the ones that we can go over. We did go over one already, but this is going to be the first edition stamp variety of it. It's going to be Sabrina's Alakazam in first edition. This one will run you about $100 to $130 in a near mint copy. Once again, I really like the artwork where the two spoons are almost conducting electricity. That is a pretty cool artwork in my opinion. At the same time, we're going to talk about a card that we mentioned, which is the base set Alakazam. We're going to talk about the shadowless variety. Shadowless meaning that there are no shadow borders around where these in between the two yellow lines. This one is considered a short print run, hence why there's a bigger demand in price, especially since it's like awkward transition between first edition base to regular and limited base set. Now this one will run you about $200 to $250. It really depends. Like I said before, you have to actually see the cards themselves to determine how near mint they are. Are they near mint pack fresh mint, or near mint there are a couple of tiny scratches here and there and maybe some nicking. So that will determine the price for it. The more immaculate it is, obviously the price will start ballooning afterwards. We did mention about legendary collections. Next, we have the reverse holographic Alakazam from Legendary Collections, one of the most sought after sets. You see how crazy that looks on screen. This one will actually run you about the same price as the Alakazam Shadowless from base set. It'll also run about $200 to $300 depending on how near mint or mint the copy is. In terms of nostalgia, Alakazam Shadowless will be probably the more sought after. In terms of artwork, because nowadays everyone wants reverse holographic from Legendary Collections, the Alakazam is kind of underrated in my opinion. Speaking of Alakazams from certain eras that people really like, we mentioned it before. We talked about Skyridge. The next we're going to talk about is going to be from Skyridge number 1. It's going to be the Alakazam Holographic, which is right there, and the Alakazam Reverse Holographic. Like I mentioned before, the holographic version is going to have a better price than the reverse holographic. The reverse holographic will run you about $100 to $150, whereas the actual holographic version, which is I think it's H1. Yes, H1 will run you for about $300, which might sound crazy, but Skyridge demands that price. Any holographic in Skyridge will demand a price outside of your less popular Pokemon, maybe like Dugong and Rhydon. All the other ones like Jolteon, Moltres, Articuno, those ones are going to run you crazy amount of price. Umbreon's really expensive. So that's why it's demanding a price. It is a popular Pokemon. It's from a set that is very scarce in the sense that it was short printed, and then the artwork is also different. At the same time, I really like the artwork. We only have 2 more cards left. Let's see if you can guess what the last 2 are. If you've watched my previous videos for how to invest in Pokemon, when we did Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, when it came down to the last couple cards, it was always the same, and it won't be a big difference as well this time. As the runner-up, we're going to talk about Alakazam Gold Star. Alakazam Gold Star is going to be from the EX era. This is going from EX Crystal Guardians. This one is number 99 out of 100. This is one of the secret rares where you, just like the alt arts now, you can probably get one, if you're one out of every 2 booster boxes or 3 booster boxes, 2 out of 1 booster case. Allegedly, that's what the pull rate was. Really hard to get. The gold stars, you see the Rayquaza or the Pikachu, Charizard, they're just up there in price. Alakazam doesn't demand as high of a premium as Rayquaza, but at the same time is one of the more popular Pokemon, and the price reflects that. You're looking at probably $400 to $600 for a near mint copy. Now, if you were to get a PSA graded card above a 9, you're gonna see about above $800. A couple $1,000 easily, but in terms of Alakazams, no one beats the king at number 1, which is Alakazam from the first edition base set Shadowless. This is the most sought after Alakazam, when you think of expensive Alakazam card, this is the one. Now, there are 2 different varieties, like I mentioned in my previous video, a thin versus thick stamp. I like the thick stamp. It looks just cleaner. It doesn't look as cheap. This is a thick stamp. When I say thick stamp, I don't know if it'll zoom in or not, but the one in the first edition is actually thicker. This card right here will run you about $600 to $800 for a near mint copy. Now, that is down from last year because of the price drop in vintage. But at the same time, $600 to $800, good luck finding a near mint copy for that price. Just because they're hard to get. People back then didn't really put them in a binder for collection and keep them safe in their closet. People just had fun playing with them. Also, as the first edition run, you're never really most people weren't given the opportunity to be able to purchase them, weren't readily available to the public. Only a short print run, obviously first edition run. So that's why it demands a higher premium. So if you were to find one, I would definitely recommend picking it up. It is worth the price because it is the most iconic in the sense of the English TCG Pokemon card. Now, those are the cards that I mentioned for Alakazam. It is a lot less than Pikachu, hence why it was more manageable, and I'm able to go a little bit more in depth in it. If there are any other Alakazam cards that I have missed, please comment down below. I'm always open to see what else is out there, your suggestions. If I missed anything, any cool facts about Alakazam, make sure just to let us know. And on the final note, why do I like Alakazam? I don't really mention this about in other videos, but what makes them popular? Why do I collect them? I don't always collect Pokemon just because they're popular in the, with everybody. I collect them personally because I like the Pokemon, I like the artwork. I collect the Charizard because everyone collects the Charizard, not necessarily because I like Charizard as much. I like Umbreon, I like Tyranitar, Alakazam, Gengar, those are my favorite Pokemon. There's a reason for all of them. Definitely for me, it was playing the original red version. Alakazam was my sweeper. Take down all the Dragonites. Anybody that came at me with any Pokemon, I'd be able to take them out with my Alakazam. I just thought it was cool. I liked psychic Pokemons. How can you not like someone that looks like he's ready for dinner all the time? Look at those 2 spoons. 2 spoons, ready for breakfast, lunch, dinner, doesn't matter. You throw a bowl of cereal out there in the wild, you will catch yourself at Alakazam. I know it's out there. That's how I think about it. Call me crazy. But anyways, a whole bunch of rambling. Hope you enjoyed this video. And see you all next time. Bye.